Let's be honest, not every NRI wants to move back. We have poured years, our savings, and a few sleepless nights into building a life here. Not all of us want to start from zero again. Which means the real question is simple. What does retiring in America actually cost? And the answer starts with the number you have heard 100 times, but never truly stress tested for your own life. $2 million. Most people think a $2 million portfolio means you're all set for life. Many NRIs we speak to believe the same until they actually run the numbers. Because what retirement really looks like on $2 million is very different from what you see online. Some parts feel better than expected, and some parts surprise most people. Welcome to NRI Lens, where we make cross-border money simple, practical, and honest. No complicated math, no finance jargon. If that sounds useful, you will probably enjoy the rest of this channel too. So subscribe. Let us start with the numbers. If you have $2 million invested and follow the 4% rule, that is about $80,000 a year. That 4% is a guideline, not a law of physics. The man who invented it, Bill Bengen, recently revised his own figure upward, closer to 5% for many retirees. So treat 80,000 as your anchor, not a promise. And lean conservative in the years the market looks ugly, is before tax. After tax, depending on your accounts and your state, you actually spend around 65,000 to 70,000. Call it 70,000. That is about $5,800 a month. Is that rich? No. Is it struggling? No. It sits right in the middle. Comfortable but nothing crazy. Let us break that down. Assuming your home is paid off, housing first. Even with no mortgage, you're spending around $1,500 a month on property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. If you still have a mortgage, this changes fast. Food around $1,000 a month. You eat well, you're just not ordering in every night. Healthcare, and this surprises people, around $1,000 to $1,500 a month, especially before Medicare kicks in at 65. You cannot ignore this one. Transportation, around $400 to $600 a month. Car, gas, insurance. Nothing fancy, all covered. Travel and experiences, around $1,200 a month. This is the fun part. A couple of trips a year, maybe back to India to see family, maybe a vacation you enjoy. Comfortable but not extravagant. Utilities, phone, and the small stuff, around $300 to $400 a month. Streaming services included because nobody actually cancels those. And a buffer because something always breaks. A water heater, a car repair, a bill you did not see coming. Retirement does not stop life from happening. Add it up and you are spending $5,000 to $6,000 a month. On $70,000, that leaves breathing room. Not luxury, but enough that you are not counting every dollar. If this is the kind of life you are building as an NRI, you are in the right place. Here is something people forget. In retirement, some of your biggest expenses disappear. No more saving for retirement, no daily commute, no work lunches. That makes a bigger difference than people expect. Now the part that matters as much as the number itself. Where your $2 million actually sits. Two people with the same $2 million can end up in very different places. Most portfolios sit in three kinds of accounts. Bucket 1 is your 401k or traditional IRA, where most US-based NRIs keep the bulk of their savings. Money goes in before tax, grows for years, and gets taxed as regular income when you withdraw it. One catch: you cannot leave it there forever. At 73 or 75, if you were born after 1959, the government makes you start withdrawing a minimum every year, whether you need it or not. Bucket 2 is a Roth IRA, which is the reverse. You pay tax going in, so withdrawals come out tax-free, and there is no forced withdrawal. That makes it the most flexible money you have in retirement. Bucket 3 is a regular brokerage account. No special treatment going in, but hold long term, and your gains are taxed at lower capital gains rates instead of regular income. You want a mix of all three. It lets you choose which account to pull from each year and how big a tax bill to trigger. That is what decides how much you actually keep, not just the 2 million on paper. Now the one people underestimate, Social Security. If you worked about 10 years in the US, you have a benefit waiting. When you claim it matters. You can start at 62, but you lock in about 30% less for life. Full benefits come at 67. Wait past that and it grows about 8% a year until it maxes out at 70. Here is why that matters. Instead of pulling the full 80,000 from your portfolio, you might only pull 50 to 60,000 because Social Security covers the rest. That alone makes your money last much longer. And if you're married, that is 2 benefits, not 1. This is when 2 million starts to feel stable. The number did not change. You're just not leaning on it alone. Of course, there are risks. First, timing. If the market drops early in your retirement and you keep withdrawing the same amount, you are selling at the worst time. Keep 1 or 2 years of expenses in cash, so you are never forced to sell in a downturn. Second, healthcare. The biggest unknown, especially before 65. Not fun to plan for, but real. Third, inflation. Over time, your money buys less. What feels fine today can feel tight in 20 years. That is why part of your money still needs to grow after you retire, not just sit in cash. So, is 2 million enough for your retirement? The answer depends on variables like your lifestyle, your city, and whether your home is paid off. In a place like San Francisco or New York, it can feel tight. In much of the country, especially with no mortgage, it is a comfortable life. 2 million will not make you rich the way people picture it. But it is enough to stop worrying about every spending decision. One thing that I'm sure a lot of you also must have thought. Money solves one problem. It does not solve the bigger one, which is what you actually do with your days. When the job and the office structure disappears, it feels strange, but the people who handle it best are the ones who already built a life outside work. So 2 million is really about control. Control over your time and your decisions. With that amount and good financial hygiene, hobbies, vacations, bucket lists all become very viable. And for those of us who built this life far from where we started, that control lands differently when we finally get there. If this helped, share it with another NRI who would find it useful. This was NRI Lens. Until next time.